Well, welcome. I'm excited to have author Angela Bell with me. Thank you. It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourself. This is the first time I've gotten to meet you, and I'd love to know more about you.
So I'm a new author with Bethany House Fiction. My debut novel came out last year. It's called A Lady's Guide to Marvels and Misadventure, and it's a story where Around the World in 80 Days meets the Nutcracker Ballet.
Okay, so how was your author journey?
My author journey has been on the longer side. It was 12 years between when I started pursuing publication and when I got that first full-length novel contract. So it's been a lot of waiting, a lot of persevering, learning by trial and error to figure out my style and my voice and what I wanted to do as an author.
Yeah, so tell us about your debut novel.
Yes, so A Lady's Guide to Marvels and Misadventure is set in the Victorian era, so it's grounded in that historical British setting, but it has lots of fanciful, whimsical elements. So I've got lots of clockwork technology, I've got automatons. The heroine's grandfather is an inventor, and the whole story starts off when he suddenly takes wing in his flying clockwork owl machine to entice her on a scavenger hunt across Europe of all these places that she's dreamed of going but has never been.
Okay, and now is a flying owl clock machine, is that historical or is that...
To a point, automatons were...
I don't know what automatons...
They basically Victorian robots driven by clockwork technology. So think gears, but those have been around since the 1700s. So there are extant examples in museums from as early as like 1720, maybe a little earlier. I think I've seen one that was like late 1600s. So the technology has been around, and it was really popular in the Victorian era. One thing I've seen commonly in museum archives is a little bird cage with like a mechanized bird that would sing for people that wanted to have like a pet bird without the maintenance. So automatons were around. I do amplify what they were capable of. So there is a suspension of disbelief that readers have to go on. It's kind of like, you know, how in Mary Poppins there's the carousel scene and then the horses just magically leap off the carousel. It requires that little bit of suspension of disbelief, but the carousel technology was around at the time, so yes and no.
Gotcha. All right. So, you know, what authors inspired you, you know, to become a reader, the stories you wanted to write?
Well, speaking of Mary Poppins, P.L. Travers, her Mary Poppins series is so whimsical and fantastic. I also was a big Jane Austen fan, Louisa May Alcott, and Ellen Montgomery. Anne of Green Gables, with her poetical scope of imagination, had a really big influence on my writing style and the type of imaginative storytelling that I'm drawn to. And the very character-driven. All three of those authors, Austen, Alcott, and Montgomery, have very character-driven stories. So that's what I'm gravitating towards when I write.
So how do you develop a character? Like, what's your process?
So I'll usually, when I start a new story, I will start with a hook that kind of just gets me going. So with this one, it was Around the World in 80 Days meets the Nutcracker Ballet. And then I start thinking in terms of characters, and I will spend the longest amount of time on that. I do really in-depth character interviews where I get down to, you know, what was the darkest moment in their history that led them to have the wound that they're living with today. And I want to figure out things like their greatest fear and the flaw that manifests because of that fear, and kind of figure out where they are at the beginning of the story. And then from there, I can say, okay, what arc do I want to take you on so that we can heal that wound from your past and have you confront that greatest fear, but this time overcome it and find truth and hope that you didn't think was possible in the face of that fear. So I really take a deep dive with my characters, and then once they feel like real people kind of walking around in my head, then I transition into plot, and it's like, okay, what story would best facilitate the emotional journey that you need to go on, and I will craft the plot from there.
Okay. So what do you have coming out in the future here?
In the future, I have a second novel coming out with Bethany House Fiction. It will release on July 7th, 2026, and I have an official title. It's called A Lady's Handbook to Gadgets and Guile.
Oh, you like gadgets, huh?
Yes, I do.
Nice. Okay, so can you give a little more of a sneak peek of that?
Yes, so the hook for this one is Little Women meets Inspector Gadget. So I've got a found sisterhood of girls that all work at this ladies' society for spinsters that are academically inclined. But what people don't realize is that the Ladies' Society for Bookish Spinsters is actually a covert organization of lady inspectors that investigate crimes committed by the members of high society.
Ooh, that's very interesting. I like it. That's great. I also saw that you have a podcast. So what's your podcast?
Well, I guest on a podcast. I contribute book reviews to them of different historical fiction. So yeah, it's the Historical Bookworm Show run by Darcy Fournier and Kylie Woodley, and I'm on their book review team. So sometimes at the end of their episodes, you will hear one of my book reviews or hear me reading one of my book reviews of whatever great historical fiction I've been reading.
Okay. Do you have any modern authors of historical fiction that you really enjoy reading?
Oh yes, I love Gabriel Meyer.
Same.
Let's see, I love Joanna Davis Napolitano.
Okay.
I love Rosanna M. White. Now I'm blanking. I love Pepper Basham's stuff, contemporary and historical. So yeah, those are some of my favorites.
All right. So if people want to learn more about you, maybe take a listen of the podcast, and how do they get a
The best place for readers to connect with me is on my website, authorangela.bell.com. And from there they can find the link to the podcast, link to my socials, and link to subscribe to my seasonal email newsletter.
Okay. And so I've been asking each author this question. So why do you choose Jesus?
Because I can't write without him. I literally need him to provide the words. So for me, it's not so much a creative choice as it is by necessity. All of my writing sessions begin in prayer and Bible time, and it's just a natural segue into the writing. And I feel like that's where I connect with him the most, is through story, and that's how he connects with me the most. So the emotional journeys that my characters go on are often very personal to me, because whatever the hero or heroine are learning is probably something that God was helping me learn 12 months prior. So it's very interwoven with my own personal faith journey, and it's not something that I can really separate. It's an intrinsic gear in the windings of my faith walk.
All right, I like the gear again. Yes, that's great. All right, well, Angela, thank you so much for joining me. It's nice to meet you.
It's been delightful. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you bet. And make sure you check out Angela's website and check out her book and her new book coming out in 2026.
Yes.
So awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.